Hey everybody, I think our takes were just too hot, Derek. That ever happened
Yeah,
to
that
you?
must be it. That must be it.
I mean, someone said we started telling the truth about Islam.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a shame. We're
what
never
was
gonna
that? We were
get
just
that.
kicked off, right? That was really weird.
Yeah,
Th-
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, they made me update the app. But anyway, just to get back to what we were talking about,
Right.
I do think that we are in approaching an increasingly dehumanized economy, which is enabled by that asset price inflation thing that we talked about with Riley, and this is something that I continue want to track. Why don't we talk to the other big story? There were a few big foreign affairs stories this week, and the first one was
Annie?
Derek. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay, guys. How's it going? Uh, all right, here it comes.
Hey, Derek.
Okay.
Okay, well now we're going to fire Jake. That's for sure.
All
Um,
right. Fair enough.
let's talk about the other big story, which is Ahmadinejad. So, Derek, what do you
Oh
think of this
man,
one? There's a lot going
this
on
is.
here.
Yeah. I mean, this New York Times story that Ahmadinejad was the guy that they wanted to put in charge at the start of the war.
Do you buy
And
it?
yeah, I buy it. I buy it. I mean,
So, what's the
why not?
theory here?
I mean, the theory is that he has been on shitty terms with the religious hierarchy since his presidency ended in 2013, and I mean, he's a player. Like he's wants
In
a
more
path
ways
back
than
in
one.
power. He's run for president, several times, run for a third term, and hasn't been able to get through the screening process. Um, so why not? I mean, somebody offers him a path back to power, even though obviously he had didn't have any nice things to say about the U.S. or Israel when he was president. You
He
know,
did give a talk at
uh,
Columbia University, and Lee
beggars
Bollinger
can't be choosers.
yelled at him. I remember that was like, do you remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
That was like a big deal.
Oh yeah, I remember when he
Yeah,
came to Columbia. It was like
modeling free
this
free
huge thing.
speech. And then Bollinger, like I think it was right before Ahmadinejad came on, he like just insulted him. Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was
I can't remember.
a
I
very
mean, I
weird
think
situation.
what's weird to me about this, is that th- they carried out an airstrike on his house to try and spring him from house arrest. Like to the point, he's been on shitty terms with the hierarchy. Like he was under house arrest. Like he had IRGC people guarding him at home in Tehran, which really meant he was being held captive. And they bombed his house, but
Right.
they bombed the guard post. So the initial reporting was that they killed him,
We
but
didn't report
apparently,
it
but
though. Do
that
you remember that? We had a discussion. We said we were going to
yeah,
wait for confirmation.
yeah,
We
because
were
I mean,
monitoring the situation, and we
you
were
can't be
correct.
sure of anything in those
I know.
situations. Like
Yeah.
all kind of crazy shit gets talked about. But I mean, they did literally bomb the grounds of his house, like the street that he was living on. Now I don't know if anybody knows where he is. Like he might have been wounded, maybe not. He's just sort of disappeared. I mean, apparently not under house arrest anymore. Like I don't know. Um,
He used it as an
but
opportunity to
what
escape.
the yeah, I mean, like what the mechanism was supposed to be for going from like we killed the supreme leader and we busted you out of house jail. Now go take over Iran. Like I don't know what the mechanism was supposed to be for that. What's weird is why are we learning about this now? Like, do you want him to die now? Like, is the point like we tried and failed? We might as well let the Iranians execute him because that's what this does. It paints a gigantic target on him. If there wasn't one before, if he wasn't already viewed with deep suspicion, which he obviously was, but not to the point where
Do
anybody.
we?
I think if anybody thought he was in conversation with the Israelis and the U.S. about taking over Iran, he probably would have been executed, not placed under house arrest. So, I mean, this clearly just makes it more like less tenable for him to even be in the country at this point.
Do we know what part of the state seems to have leaked this information? Is it intelligence again?
I don't. Let me take a look at the
Because if it is
timestamp.
intelligence, I think this is like kind of interesting about the permanent security apparatus is trying
Well,
to
there've been a
clean
lot
itself.
of leaks from the
Yeah,
intelligence apparatus lately about the Iran war in particular. Like all of these leaks about like we haven't destroyed as many missiles as Trump says we have. We haven't, they've still got a lot of capabilities left. Like all that stuff is coming from
intelligence. Yeah.
the intelligence community, which is clearly not happy about something. Let's see. Who was leaking this?
What do the New York crimes have to say?
Uh, U.S. officials who were briefed on the plan
Oh, so that could be anyone. Okay,
is
so
what they said. So that could be anybody.
that could be a
Could be
backbencher. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
could
That
be
doesn't
yeah, it
mean
could be
anything.
somebody in Congress, like on the intel committees or something. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's just weird. Um, and I guess if you had motives to paint Trump and company as blithering idiots, this is a thing that you would leak. But uh, they that's our pretty clear. Like everybody already kind of got that message. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Ahmadinejad is a funny guy. He's got
He's a
there's
college
some areas
basketball
where
fan, right?
yeah, college
Yeah,
basketball
he
fan.
likes
Like
Michigan. I think he got his engineering degree there, MSU. Am I remembering that
I mean,
correctly?
he does sort of, and even when he was president the first time, sort of gave off a like "Make Iran Great Again" kind of vibe
Hmm.
in his presentation. So I mean, there could be like some affinities there with Trump. Um, and again, like I think he just wants a path back to power. Like I mean, it's not. Uh,
Well, most
he's
importantly,
selling
Derek,
out, I guess you could say, but
above all, what did the menswear guy say about his drip? Because if I remember, Ahmadinejad knew how to dress and enter a room, which would be
yeah,
nice to
yeah.
have a international leader with style. Who is that
The
Ukrainian
other
woman
funny thing is
with
somebody's
hair?
pointing out in the chat is like, I mean, and I don't think this is proof that it's not a real story, but like Ahmadinejad doesn't have any. I don't know what his base of support is at this point
Besides
in the
American
country,
Prestige,
like besides American
American Prestige
Prestige,
and Donald
obviously.
Trump.
Like I don't know what popular support he would have had. Maybe he would have had. Who knows. But to take over as the Delcy Rodriguez, which is basically how it was described of Iran, I just don't see him having a lot of public support for
Here,
that.
Derek.
And yet, like, it's entirely possible that the U.S. and like the Trump administration and the Netanyahu administration are stupid enough to not realize that and just go ahead and think this is our guy.
Here, I've got a pitch. Ahmadinejad, Shah's son ticket. I think that would really be
Mm,
great. You just install them. You have both sides. You have the engineers and the plutocrats, and they could just make
yeah,
Iran
it
great
does.
again going into the future.
They do have their constituencies that would be quite emerging, I guess.
So we're going to
But like, yeah,
monitor that
I mean, he's a
situation.
dead man if they get a hold of him after this, I would think.
I wonder where. Yeah, I do wonder where he is. I wonder if he went east or west, Afghanistan, or maybe he's in
Yeah, he
Israel
could have. I
hiding
mean, he
right
could
now.
have popped out of the country. He could be on
Cut to
Epstein
like Tel
Island for all
Aviv.
we know.
Yeah, I was gonna say Epstein, the guys who look like Epstein and Ahmadinejad at a club in Tel Aviv. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be. I
mean,
wouldn't be surprised.
anything's possible.
The other big story of the week is, of course, our old communist friend Raul Castro has
Yeah.
been indicted. Do you think we're about to invade Cuba?
So
Is
yeah,
that
I mean, I
about to
think this is
happen?
like Bay of Pigs 2.0. I mean, I saw people joking about that online. And the funny thing is, there was a Politico column the other day from one of their ghouls who was talking about like the likelihood of a U.S. invasion of the island is growing. And one of the people they talked to, again, like anonymous, who knows who they are, but they were like, this is not going to be Bay of Pigs 2.0, meaning that they're not going to just get a bunch of exiles together and like
And not
send them on
provide
a
air support?
boat to like, take over, like go fly free, do what you need to do. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is a pretext to go in and get Raul Castro. And oops, by the way, if we topple the government and put Castro's grandson or
Ahmadinejad.
whoever we're talking about. Ahmadinejad, yeah,
They should put Ahmed. They should do a switcheroo.
uh,
Put the
put
Shah and
Juan
Ahmadinejad in
Guaido
Cuba.
or whoever it's going to be. Like if they they put whoever they want in charge, but it's just a side effect. What we're really doing is going and arresting this guy who we've indicted, which it's the same thing they did with Maduro. Like we've indicted him, so that gives us the right to invade another country and yank him out. And oh, by the way, put a new government in place. But that's just a
Yeah,
side effect.
yeah, extraterritoriality you haven't seen since like the late 19th century.
Yeah,
But do you what do you think? I mean, this would probably be a special operation, right? If Trump learned anything, who knows,
yeah.
from
I mean,
Venezuela, this would be some sort of
it would
Venezuela,
certainly be
Bin
like
Laden.
a
Yeah,
quick in, quick out type of thing. I don't know what they do. It's different because while Raul Castro was probably still the most influential figure in Havana, he doesn't have an official, or I guess he's like emeritus head of the Communist Party, but like Diaz Canel is president and head of the actual head of the party.
he's in his
Um,
90s, right, Raul, at this
yeah,
point?
Raul's in
Yeah,
his
yeah,
90s. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's young. He's got at least a few 15, 20 years left to go with him. So that's
So yeah, I
understandable.
mean, it's not as clean a move as taking Maduro, who was the sitting president of the country, and then you get to put whoever you wanted in his place. You'd still have to figure out what to do with Diaz Canel and maybe other officials too. So I don't know exactly how the mechanics would work, but yeah, I think it's going to be a. I would say quick in, quick out. Maybe they'll have to go in and do like some mini occupation,
Good.
but I don't
The
know.
U.S. When the U.S.
Uh,
occupies Cuba, good things happen. That's what history has
yeah, I
taught
mean
us.
that's definitely you can take that to the bank. But then there was that other story in Axios the other day about how Cuba is threatening the United States with its 300 attack drones. That was another one. I mean, that was another just straight up like manufacturing consent for an
I just hope
invasion.
they don't
Um,
hit the Clavicular's nightclub. That's my
and
one
they even
dream.
say, I mean, they even said, like, yes, we have these drones, but it's because we think we're about to be attacked by the fucking United States. Like, we need to be able to defend ourselves. But still, in the Axios piece, the guy who wrote it, the Mark Caputo, the Florida guy, I guess, um, like even said in the piece, like, I'm being told, like, people within the administration are telling me that Cuba has all these drones, and this could be used as a pretext to launch a military operation against the island. But here, let me lay out the pretext for you, having now just told you I could be, I'm being spun by the administration. Let me just go along with that and tell you, what they're telling me. So yeah, I mean, I think they're trying real hard to give themselves a justification.
I have an
The
image.
drones. Yeah, is it funny? And maybe you could talk about this maybe with more historical perspective, but it's funny to me that like the United States is constantly like U.S. officials and the media goes right along with it. The framework of this country is preparing to defend itself if we should attack it, and therefore it is the aggressor, and we must attack it. Like this logic that only works
That's good
in
logic.
in the U.S. I mean, it's incredible to me, and it's the same thing. They did the same thing with Iran. Like Iran was going to retaliate for the attack that we were about to launch, so we had to attack them to stop the retaliation. Like it's
Yeah, it's
like
preemptive
it just
war,
doesn't
right?
make any sense. It's
This is
not
his
even
doctrine. Yeah.
preemptive. It's not even preemptive. Like preemption suggests that they are going to launch an unprovoked attack against you at some point. Our thing is like if somebody's going to defend themselves when we attack them, that's a threat. Like that's somehow a threat to us.
Well,
It, it,
they
it
should
it's
surrender, Derek. I don't
it's
see the problem
whiny
here.
shit.
Surrender in advance.
Yeah, just surrender. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess. I guess it's not
we're
fair. It's not fair to put up a fight. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Play
yeah.
the game the right way.
I mean, we're laughing now, Derek. In 3 months, cut to like Cubans storming Miami and
Yeah.
occupying all the nightclubs. It would
Oh,
be
don't
terrible.
threaten me with a good
The
time.
the influencers will be forced to do communist clavicular, doing communist propaganda, communist maxing. But one thing I did want to talk about with drones is that I haven't actually heard your opinion on how this Iran focus on drones and the seeming effectiveness of relatively cheap drones. Do you think this is going to have an impact on U.S. grand strategy? Do you think that this is going to shape Taiwan? What's your take on this?
I don't think it even starts with Iran. It's Ukraine. Like the
Right, that's the
Ukrainians
the, the cauldron. Yeah,
have made themselves a much bigger nuisance to the Russians over the last, after that initial period where the Russians really didn't seem like they were prepared for Ukraine to put up a fight, reminding you of any other conflicts that may have taken place recently. And the Ukrainians kind of knocked them back and knocked them out of a lot of the territory they initially. That was back in 2022 at the end of the year. But then you had a good couple of years where it was, the Russians seemed to be on the front foot. They were grinding away. But the Ukrainians have developed their own drone capabilities and made themselves a huge nuisance over the last, maybe 12 months, maybe less than that. But they're launching long range strikes into Russia. The Russian advances, even as slow as it was, seems to have slowed down or ground to a halt. Uh, even to an even greater extent. And like I think the lesson from that, and then the lesson from Iran, is that you don't have to go toe to toe with a great power that wants to take you out. You just have to make yourselves hard enough to conquer or to defeat and cause enough pain to survive. And that's one of the things that really focusing on drones allows you to do. There should be a lesson there for Taiwan, but Taiwan, of course, keeps getting forced into buying expensive U.S. weapons platforms that they don't need and that wouldn't be any good in the case of a Chinese invasion. Instead of doing the same thing, instead of making the island such a potential, pain in the ass for the Chinese that they think twice about invading it.
yeah. And as we talked about with Dylan Riley today, you guys will all be hearing that in a few weeks, as long as you're subscribers. Oh, by the way, Derek, I'm wearing quints. I'm going to start only wearing
Oh,
quints for these
that's a good
live
idea.
streams.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
I
just
don't. I
just put
can't
a
do that. I have Quinn's towels. That's the only thing I have. Or no, I
just
think I have
just
some
come in a
sheets,
towel.
some bedding. So yeah, I guess I'll
Put it
wrap a
around
towel
your head.
around my
That's a
head.
that's a that's
Yeah.
a that's a style that always works. But also it is interesting once you have these fixed investments in these sorts of productive things, or really just an industrial plants, it's very difficult to get off that train. So it'll be interesting to see what Taiwan does in the coming years, and how it attempts to defend against China. And particularly what China is going to think about. I mean, because I imagine the Chinese people who are running the military are relatively sophisticated, and they are probably aware of this and how that reshapes their own strategy toward Taiwan. Because if they did attempt an invasion and Taiwan was able to produce drones or even just purchase a ton of drones, it would be very difficult. I don't think it's going to be by invasion. I think this is where Americans have been focusing, but
Yeah. I mean,
I
it
just
would
don't
probably
think.
start out with a blockade. Like they could so easily blockade the island, and the deterrent there is supposed to be um, the chip manufacturing. It's supposed to be
Right.
Taiwan Semiconductor
But they're moving that off,
Manufacturing
right?
Company.
They're
They're
starting
moving
to.
some of it to the US. Like Trump wanted Taiwanese manufacturing in the US and investment, but the conceit since he cut his deal with Taiwan and to do that has been that they're not going to move like the most advanced AI chips to the US because again, like this is supposed to be the deterrent for China. So, I mean, who knows what'll happen? Like Trump, could decide tomorrow that he doesn't want that deal anymore. He wants to move all the chips to the U.S. Anything's possible.
Yeah, it'll be so interesting. I'm so curious. I mean, as you know, I think this Trump era is winding down. I'm so curious what the Democrats are going to do, and I'm so curious about 2028. Because is it going to be another Obama moment of the institutionalization of the Republican approach, or another Biden moment? If people haven't
Yeah.
checked it out yet, I would look at I would check out the interview we just did with Quincy's Jake Warner. Really interesting. Basically, the Biden administration just institutionalized the Trump approach to China. So the pattern since 2001, since Ronald Reagan, just seems to be actually that the Democrats institutionalize what the Republicans do and then do it more effectively to some degree. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. That is the
I
big
mean, it is
question to me.
interesting, right? Like they they can't, even the stuff that they don't think is a good idea, they can't just break with it. It always has to be this like, and I don't know if it's a like lingering institutional thing because the Democrats are still obsessed with institutions, and it's like you can't just
Mess, yeah,
reverse your predecessor's foreign policy. Like, and the idea of politics ending at the water's edge is
yeah.
obviously shot to hell. But the idea that there has to be at least some continuity, and then you get leading lights like Jake Sullivan, Anthony Blinken saying, "Well, I mean, as long as we're here, maybe we could do something clever with what where Trump has left us." And that's what they did with the Iran deal. That's what they did with China. It's just stupid. But
It's what Obama did with the
uh,
war on
you
terror. It's
know,
what Clinton did with
yeah.
deregulation. It's you go back basically
Well,
after the
I
period
mean,
of democratic hegemony.
Obama's thing was like, we're going to do the war on terror smarter.
I
Like,
hate that they
we're
always use
not going to get rid of
smart.
it.
Do
Like,
you
we're going to
notice
do
that?
smarter and better. Yeah.
Yeah, the Democrat they
Um,
called smart tariffs, right? That's what they called the
right.
tariffs against China.
But I think it's
We're going to do
different from
smart tariffs.
Biden. Like he didn't disavow the war on terror. He disavowed the war in Iraq, but he didn't disavow the war on terror as a broad category. And of course, he did the surge in Afghanistan. But like Biden campaigned on, pulling out of the Iran deal
Right.
was stupid. This policy, the antagonizing China is stupid. And then he wins and he takes office, and they're like, well, instead of just going right back into the Iran deal, what if we force the Iranians to make more concessions to get us back into the deal? And the Iranians said, fuck you. You're the ones who broke the thing in the first place. You should make reparations for it. And that was it. The moment was lost. And they elected the Raisi, the hardline president, who only served a year, I guess, before he was killed in that helicopter accident. But like that was it. The moment was gone. You're not going to get a deal. And it's the same thing with China. Like, well, as long as we're here and Trump has sort of clarified things, maybe we can, still work with China on the important stuff like climate change, but, have a little more antagonistic relationship. And I mean, it didn't work. It was a complete failure.
First of all, never insult Joe Biden in front of me again. I won't yell at you in front of the
Well,
listeners or
okay. I
watchers
don't
now.
blame him because he didn't know where the fuck he was. I blame
He was
Sullivan,
in the bathroom at the time.
Blinken. Yeah.
Uh, so, Derek, I'm going to call an audible. We haven't discussed this, but I think we should address Thomas Massey losing. I'm sure we'll talk about it on the news, but a
Will
blow
we?
to restraint.
That's not something we usually talk about on the news.
He was
Uh,
the APAC funding, right, and sort of a restrainer with Rand Paul. Any thoughts about the Massey loss via con
Yeah, I mean,
Dios, Tommy?
it's still Trump's party. Like, I
Right.
don't know. Um, Whatever they say about people being disaffected by the Iran war or people being disaffected by Israel's influence or whatever, it's still Trump's party. If he doesn't like you, I mean, he did the same thing to Cassidy. He's going to do the same thing to Jim Cornyn in Texas. Uh, like, if he doesn't like you, you're gone.
And which
And
raises interesting questions about the future of the party itself, because I know
yeah, I mean,
clearly
what
no
do
one
you
has
do?
that
Because
juice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
JD Vance isn't going to be the guy who does this shit when Trump goes. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought it was worth mentioning that because it is obviously a plastic moment for the foreign policy establishments. There are some material realities on the ground that are going to shape the U.S. approach to the world going forward, but you actually do need people in actual institutions to do things for that to change. So for our final topic, let's talk about friend of the pod, Bezalel Smotrich
Oh no,
getting.
it's Ben Gvir today.
Oh, it's
Smotrich
Ben
is.
Gavir. It's not
Well,
Smotrich. Sorry,
I
it's
mean,
Ben Gavir.
who do you? Well, Smotrich was in the news a couple of days ago because he thinks he's going to get indicted by the International Criminal Court.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about we'll talk about that
Yeah, I
on news.
mean,
Let's
they
talk.
go together. They're like peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah,
Um,
the perfect combination. So
Two
what
great
happened to
tastes that taste great together.
Ben Gavir was chastised by Benjamin Netanyahu. Uh,
Yeah, well, so I mean, Ben Gvir, like there was another Gaza flotilla from Turkey that they intercepted,
Deep in the
flying on some of the
Mediterranean,
ships, I
right?
think. Yeah, they're doing this now. They're
Yeah,
intercepting
they're
in
just
international waters,
yeah,
which is just
good.
a flex. I mean, this is just like,
Yeah,
fuck you. What are you going to do about it? Like,
yeah. The
there's
answer is
no,
nothing.
yeah, the answer is nothing. Like they're intercepting these things in international, way out in international waters. It's an act of piracy. They're detaining everybody aboard. And he put out a video of Ben Gvir put out a video where he was going like making them making the detainees eat floor basically, or like
Yeah,
humiliating
and mocking them. Yeah,
mocking
yeah,
them
yeah.
in various ways. Um, and yeah, I mean he got criticized. The criticism started with European leaders like Georgia Maloney and some others spoke out because they've gotten people like their people and their nationals are among this group of activists who are being humiliated. So he got criticism for that. He even got some criticism, I think, from the U.S. government, and then that started the flood of criticism from other Israeli officials, from Netanyahu, from Gideon Saar, and people, big kind of Hasbara types on on the various social medias, and it's just like the criticism uniformly is not you shouldn't do this, this is wrong. It's you can't do this on video to people who matter. Like if you want to do it
Right.
in private to
Americans. Yeah.
Palestinians, fine. But these are Europeans and Americans, and you're doing it on video in public. Like, come on, man. Like, keep the kayfabe. Don't just let everybody see this shit. And that was it. I mean, it's a PR problem for them. That it's not anything beyond that. So yeah, I mean, he doesn't care. Like he issued his own statements about like Saar criticizing him, saying like, you're a weakling, and I don't care what you say to me. I mean, I don't remember the exact wording of it, but it was basically like, I'm not going to listen to these pansies. I do what I want.
Uh,
But Smotrich is potentially more meaningful because he's cleansing, like he's destroying an entire Palestinian village in the West Bank because he thinks he's about to be indicted by the International
right.
Criminal Court. There's no reporting about this. And the ICC hasn't said anything, and they won't unless they do indict him. But he thinks he's about to be indicted, and to pre-rebut or to pre-retaliate for the maybe indictment that's coming down the pike, he's gonna, clear out and demolish an entire West Bank village. So, like happy times there.
What a grim situation. So Derek, I don't know how they've done it, but someone just asked us a super chat, and I feel the obligation to respond. They said, "How do you all banish would be better balance reading scholarship and life?" I mean, the show makes me read scholarship. That's one of the reasons that I do it. I have to keep up with the books that we are constantly talking to people about, and then whenever I do my own work, I sort of read around. And my life, I mean, one of the benefits of being a academic is that you do actually have a lot of time to read and do research. So that's how I balance it. I don't know how Derek does it because Derek is constantly Derek monitors so many situations; it's impossible to even keep track of. But Derek, how do you
Yeah,
balance
I
scholarship and
mean, I
life?
just read the news all day, and like when I have time, I skim the books that we have to do. But it's uh one reason why you do more of the talking when we interview book authors is because I don't have time to read much of the books. Like I can do a little bit, and if it's a topic that I know something about, then I can, you know, be more involved. But like I just don't, I don't have that much time. And people like, uh, I don't think this is spilling the beans because it was in the Mother's Day episode, but of course we're doing season two of Welcome to the Crusades, and I'm trying to read a book on the Second Crusade to uh, prepare for that. So that's another thing. Uh, yeah, it's a lot, but I try
So
to keep it
everyone,
balanced.
so sorry. First of all, sorry for that snafu at the beginning. I don't know what
Yeah, I
happened
don't
there.
know
That was
what
really
happened. That was
strange.
probably me fumbling
It was
something,
it
but
was definitely no, just kidding. But we're going to start
well,
rolling
I
these
mean,
out
the
in a bit.
curious thing is like it started to go
That is
wrong when
curious, Derek.
I opened the Discord to post the link to the chat in the Discord, but I opened the Discord on my computer and I'm on my phone here. but it crashed immediately when I opened the Discord. So I don't know why opening the Discord on my computer would affect what's happening on my phone, but
Well,
uh,
I'll
uh,
text Elon
it
after
was
the
an
show.
interesting coincidence. Yeah.
Well, now that Tim Apple is no longer in charge, he has time to answer my FaceTime. So we'll see. But we are going to start. What?
Somebody, sorry, I want to answer this question. Somebody asked the name of the book that I'm reading on the Second Crusade. It's called The Second Crusade: Extending the Frontiers of Christendom by Jonathan Phillips.
Well, Derek never answered them again. They didn't super chat, which I didn't even know that we had
Well, okay,
enabled.
but that's a reasonable question. So
So yeah, got to make it a super chat for real. So we are going to keep on doing these every Wednesday, no matter what. We don't care what happens in the world. We will be here. If Seattle is underwater or Virginia's nuclear bombed, we're going to be here. And we're also going to start rolling it out in a more professional way. We're going to start having guests. We're going to actually, in theory, allow super chats. So we will definitely answer whatever you all super chat. But every week, 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. We will post to the Discord and we will send an email until it is part of your daily schedules. And you wake up on
right.
Wednesdays and you
Your
say, I
weekly,
can't wait.
like I said, I gotta go to the
I got to go watch
live
Danny and
stream.
Derek live stream. So
Yeah, if we can, I
everyone,
mean, if we can figure out how to do this professionally and like get other people to join us and stuff, we can do longer streams. It's just
we're the 40 minutes is pretty good. I don't know. Derek is
40 minutes.
hard
This
on
is the
himself.
longest one yet. Like
And
definitely extending.
as Nikolai 700
But
said, of course, 9:30 Newfoundland time. So all the Newfies out there, we're always thinking of you. Thanks everyone for coming. And as always, keep on rocking in the free world. Bye bye.
bye, everybody.